מי ימלא גבורות ישראל לא תם, מי ימלא, הן בחדור יקום הגיבור גואל העם. מי ימלא גבורות ישראל לא תם, מי ימלא, הן בחדור יקום הגיבור גואל העם.
Special Hanukkah memory. That's a very good question. Actually, it's really recent. It's not so much going when I was younger, but I think of each year now with my kids. Each child has his own Hanukkah set. And so on the last night of Hanukkah, when we have all five, and we have 5 menorahs lined up. And it's just a wonderful sight just to see the 5 Hanukkah candles all lit up at night with all the lights out. To me, that's what's special.
I don't know what year it was, but one year when I had my own travel agency, my wife and our 2 kids went to Israel at Hanukkah time. And it also was at that time when Israel confiscated a couple of boats from the French, which they had ordered and I think paid for, but the French were holding them. And these people, the Israelis went in and borrowed them. Confiscated them for their own use. No war, no nothing. We just went in, took the boats, and brought them to Haifa. And when you're standing, I don't know, we were standing on some sort of hill, of which Haifa has a lot of. You could look down and see those 2 or 3 boats in the harbor. And that was exciting. And that was at Hanukkah time.
I have a great memory when Rafi and Micah, we went to go buy things for the Hanukkah wish list. Do you guys remember that? And we got a list of a family and all the things that they weren't able to purchase for their children. So we went to Target and we got to pick out things. I remember one year we did it that someone wanted a pillow of, it was a very specific pillow. And we actually found it. We were so excited we found it. And then we got to bring it to the Ark for the Hanukkah gift wish program.
When I was really, really little, 3, maybe even less, my religious grandfather was asked, and I don't know why, what we should do for Hanukkah. And he said, well, of course you'll light the candles and all that, but it wouldn't be terrible to put up stockings and put candy canes and stuff in it. Now, I think we did that once, and then we shifted to my daughter Sarah, my oldest daughter's tradition, which was she went to a store one day and they said, little girl, how do you celebrate the holiday? How do you celebrate Christmas? And she said, oh, no, we don't celebrate Christmas. We're British.
Hát férjem olyan vallásos volt, hogy megesküdtünk, és elmentünk nászútra. És az első dolga az volt, pont Hanuka volt akkor, és az első dolga az volt, hogy elmentünk megkeresni egy téglát, amire a Hanuka gyertyát meg tudjuk gyújtani. És felvittük a szállodába a Hanuka gyertyát, elénekeltük a Móajcűrt, és utána elintéztük a dolgainkat.
Every time you have a child who's old enough to have their own Chanukiah and light the Hanukkah candles and watch them do that for the first time, it's a pretty special memory, and it's very powerful. And I think for each child you can sort of remember these kind of moments, or just having them all together and lighting their own Chanukiahs.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When we, as our kids grew up, they each picked a Chanukiah, and so as the days of Hanukkah go on, it just becomes increasingly beautiful on our buffet, where everyone has candle after candle after candle being lit, and it is beautiful.
I went, when I was in college, I went on Birthright and I got to eat sufganiyot with Ariel Sharon. was pretty awesome.
Really?
I understood why he was a very large
Was
man.
it like a big table?
It was basically, you saw that Sufganiyot took over all of Israel for all of Hanukkah, and you saw them everywhere, and then you understood that the Sufganiyot in the Prime Minister's office were the most delicious ever, and that was why Arik Sharon was a giant person.
Well, mine is more current. Mayor Fried, who just passed away, used to debate the latkes at Hamantash, and in 1 or 2 years I was in that debate with him, and it brings back those more fond memories when he was alive and with us. So
yeah, that's a wonderful
that's the memory.
And he was funny and smart, and were you against him or with him?
Actually, I think I was against him.
Yeah, and that was tough.
Because I was a law professor, he was a law professor,
Yeah.
Alan Barron also. It was a good time.
And I think they ended up throwing latkes at each other or Hamantash
something, whatever.
or something.
Our very first Hanukkah together, it was really nice. And I made homemade applesauce, but I was lazy and didn't want to peel the apples. And so we had bright pink applesauce. It was very festive. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And
Okay, so we had Hanukkah at our house one year, and so we're all like sitting at the table and we're gonna go light the candles, and so my dad leans over the menorah to go light the candles, and he lights his shirt on fire.
No.
And yeah, it was basically a big fiasco, and he had to like take it off, but he didn't get burnt, so
It's the miracle of Hanukkah.
It's a miracle.
That when my uncle in Israel, I had been there the first time to sing at the Heichal Tarbut, and he made a present of this Chanukiah, which he had made. I don't know if it's Tzolfatim or who made it, but I've never forgotten it. It was my favorite Uncle Shimon, and Debbie and I have used it since forever. I got it before I was married.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we've had it a long time.
We used to go to Mexico in December, and we were almost always intersecting with Hanukkah, and we would take our menorah to whatever restaurant we went to, and we would light the menorah, and we could, almost hear the waiters and the restaurant folks going, "They lit 7 at our restaurant. You only got 4 at your restaurant. We must be better."
I remember when we had Hanukkah in New York, the first Hanukkah after we were married, and we had our new Chanukiah from the Jewish Museum, and we lit the candles on the windowsill of our very small New York apartment, and we made latkes, and it smelled like oil.
For 8 days. Very authentic.
So that was delightful.
So my mom's first cousin, Sharon, and her husband, Bernie, used to have a Hanukkah casino in their house. And they had all the games in the basement. I think they had inherited from a synagogue casino setup. So they had a real roulette wheel, and they had a blackjack table, and they had all sorts of games going on, and a big sign that said, "In case of raid, exit through back door." So Sharon would be downstairs basically running the casino, and Bernie would spend about 3 hours upstairs frying latkes. That was a lot of fun. It was good. I'm sorry you didn't get to see it.
I always had, once I was married, I always had a Hanukkah party. And I guess it was in the early 80s, and I was living in a basement apartment with Robert. And I had my family over for Hanukkah, and it was a very cold day. It was probably 20 below. And I always cooked the latkes in the area right outside my basement apartment, which was the laundry room. And that year, as I started to cook, the pipe in the laundry room broke because it was so cold that it froze, and water started spraying all over the laundry room. So I had to call the plumber. The plumber came. It was a Friday. I'll never forget. I think it was a Friday night. The plumber's there fixing the pipe. We're frying latkes, and we're feeding the plumber latkes so that we could have our latkes for Hanukkah. And we had our latkes, and he fixed the pipe.
I remember our first Hanukkah in Israel when we, on Saturday night, we made a big menorah. We lit the Ktovet Eish. Right? That's when you wrap wire in rags soaked in oil, and it was in the shape of a Chanukiah, and had the kids run a Maccabee race carrying torches around the area near the synagogue. That was a great memory. It was a great night.
I'm guessing yours is in this room.
Yeah, mine was in this room when my first when I converted. My first meeting was the Hanukkah meeting to talk about what was it called, the December dilemma. Like how do you deal with having a family who isn't Jewish but your immediate family is Jewish after you convert. So that's probably my biggest memory. There were latkes involved with that too.
Mine was, I was in Israel with my parents, and we took a walk on Hanukkah night, I don't remember which night it was, through Mea Sharim, and people would like leave their Chanukiot outside, or some people had these special Chanukiot that you put in like boxes, or like they had boxes around them so that you could like leave them outside your house. And we would just go walking and like look at everyone's Chanukiot, and it was really nice.
I have a lot of memories from Hanukkah. The oldest one goes back to my immigrant poor grandmother, who we always lit the candles there, but no matter what she didn't have, every once in a while she'd give me a silver dollar, which I still have today, these very old silver dollars. Not many, but every once in a while. For her, a picture of the American silver dollar was really important.
My friend Dan also lit his bed on fire in college with his Hanukkah candles. And
watch out for that so much.
Yeah, you gotta watch out.